All right. Welcome everybody to Take Over Tuesday. Please make sure that your cameras are on. Please text your teammates. Let them know, hey, we got started. This is the most important meeting of the evening. But welcome everybody. Thank you guys for being here. It shows you guys are serious business people. And I just want to give Michael a big shout out for being my DJ because I only have one screen. And when I try to go from screen to screen and then try to pull up the PowerPoint, it doesn't work. So thanks, Michael. I appreciate the DJ skills there. But anyways, so if you're fired up for your business and fired up for Tuesday night, please put a fire emoji in the chat. I'm your host this evening. We're gonna go get started with these announcements. Let me pull this up real quick. But if you're fired up, go ahead and put a fire emoji in the chat. Let's have the chat blowing up. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Hold on. Hopefully this works. Give me a second. All right. We're going to get started right now with Takeover Tuesday. Let's see. Where's the screen? Where's the button? Uh-oh. How do I make this a presentation? Where's that button? Darn it. I knew this was going to happen.
You have
Sheesh.
in a PowerPoint or what?
I don't know, Valentina. I have it
It's
in
on
this.
Canva. You see
Hey,
on the
I
bottom where it says,
There we go. I figured it out. All right.
good job.
Anyways, welcome to Takeover Tuesday. Thank you, Valentina. I appreciate the help or trying. I'm your host. This is an AI picture. Just kidding. I need a new picture. I actually have a name tag in my picture. I just thought that was funny. My professional picture, I'm wearing a name tag, so I need to change that. That was super Miami style, so I think I need to change it a little bit more professional, right? All right. So stay in the know. If you guys are not on the group me, please scan this. Join our Heroes group me. This is like our bulletin board. It's our message system. This is where you get all the good news, you get all the information. So make sure you're on this group me. Go ahead and scan that QR code real quick if you're not in the group me yet. All right. Now let's talk about our new business partners, right? Because recruiting is the most important thing in our business. Now, these are all the new people that have joined our business in the last couple weeks. So let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations, Marion Bangura, Jakia Kimbrough, Jeremy Tebout, Thomas Myers, and Zachary Stone. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the number one team in the entire company and the number one company in the entire industry. We've got some more business partners, Andrew and Miranda Paulus, Fatin Alweli, Kevin and Sabrina Gutman, Luis Alirio and Milaris Fonseca Gil, Linda and Marvin Rosales. Welcome all these champions to the team. All right, awesome. Now, once you come on board, you either get your license or you're already licensed. So these are the champions that actually went out there, they passed their exam, they got their state license, and they're able to make some money, right? So if you don't have your license, what does that mean? It means no license, no money, right? So these are the champions that went out there, they studied, they passed their exam. So congratulations to Alma and Maylin or Malin. Congratulations. These champions passed their test out of Virginia and New York. Isn't it awesome that we can have agents from all over the United States on your team, right? And we can all do this from the comfort of our own home. You know, a lot of us have been here a while, right? I remember the days where if you recruited somebody in a different state, you would have to do something called map them. You'd have to basically give them to a local agent. You still got a percentage, but now we don't have to do that, right? You recruit somebody in New York, recruit somebody in Virginia, you could live in Miami, California, wherever, and you could still grow your business. And these are the champions that went out there, they got their license, and now they're able to go out there and make money and help families. All right, once you get your license, guess what? You got to submit your first application. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember your first application. I remember my first application. It was a huge check of $36, right? $36. But guess what? It made it real. I was like, wow, I actually made money in my own business, right? So congratulations to these people that submitted their first applications. Brianna Lamaki, she is amazing. She's actually in my Wednesday leads calls. She's always on the phone. So congratulations, Brianna. I can tell why she's submitting applications because she's out there making phone calls every single day. So congratulations to this champion. Now let's talk about your first pay cycle, because you got to submit an application first in order to get a pay cycle, right? So these champions, they submitted applications and they got their first pay cycle. Congratulations, David Emerson. Look at that. See, he's smiling. See what happens when you get your first pay cycle? You get a big smile on your face, right? So congratulations to David for his first ever pay cycle. Now let's talk about comma checks. So first you get licensed, then you submit your first application, and then you get your first pay cycle, and then you want to get something called a comma check, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever gotten a comma check, right? So what does a comma check mean? It means you made over $1,000. And here's the crazy part. We don't even recognize you unless you made $1,000. Isn't that wild, right? And this is per cycle. You know, we get paid 8 to 9 times a month and 100 times a year. You know, some people are like, oh, I get paid twice a month at my job, right? Or some people are very lucky and they get paid once a week, right? Teachers, sometimes, bless their heart, they only get paid once a month sometimes, right? We get paid 8 to 9 times a month and 100 times a year, right? So these are the champions that on one of those pay cycles, they made over $1,000, right? So let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations to Santos and Carolina, Bambi Valdez, champion Bambi, Joshua Crafels. All these champions made at least $1,000 or more. Now let's give a big round of applause to those people that made over $3,000 or more. Florio and Lorelai Mazares made over $3,700 on one cycle. You know, some people, it takes them a whole month to make that, right? We're talking about 40 hours a week, dealing with people you don't like at work, driving to work. You don't like your boss, or maybe you do, right? But they make $3,700 in a month, and Florio and Lorelai, these champions, made it in a cycle, right? And Bryce and Lauren, they came up and said, hey, guess what? We're going to go make $5,200 in the cycle, right? That's like somebody making 60 grand a year. They do that in one cycle, right? Somebody's working 40 hours a week to make 60 grand a year, which I think is like the average salary in the whole United States, right? Bryce and Lauren made that in one cycle. Congratulations to these champions. All right, now let's talk about some special events that are going on. So we got this GFI expansion and partnership on September 12th. And we got our next Super Saturday on September 12th. So if you guys have been to the Super Saturdays, you know how amazing they are. We had our last one about a week ago. It was awesome. But this is an event where, number one, our keynote speaker is who? The great Michael Chernowski, right? How would you like to be Michael, to be the one that's showing the business to your prospects, right? Let's say you want to recruit somebody. Let's say you want to recruit an agency owner. Let's say you want to recruit a licensed agent or a business partner. All you got to do is invite them to Saturday morning expansion and partnership event, and Michael is going to be there and present to them and share our opportunity. And I guarantee you, if Michael presents to them, they're going to be excited. They're going to want to come on board, and they're going to want to be your business partner, right? And by the way, I think this is something we need to really focus on a lot more, is inviting to these events, right? Back in the day, we used to have them every Tuesday and every Saturday. And you had to invite somebody. You know why? Because we were all in offices. And if you didn't invite nobody, you kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, because people are like, hey, how many guests did you have? And you're like, 0? And they're like, what? I had 3. I had 4. I had 10, right? Sometimes people would invite 10 people to these events every single Tuesday and every single Saturday. Imagine this. Imagine you have 10 guests on Saturday, September 12th. Michael presents to all of them. They're all fired up, and all 10 of them come on board. Would you rather just invite people to an event and you get 10 business partners, or maybe 5 business partners? Or would you rather you present to them, you spend 10 hours on interviews with each of them, or would you rather just invite them to the event? So I challenge everybody, including myself, to have a lot of people at this event on Saturday, September 12th. And not just that, by the way, the awesome Wendy does this every week. Every Tuesday and every Saturday, Wendy is presenting to these people. I remember Wendy recruited me about 1 or 2 people on those events. So please leverage these events, because you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is invite, right? But put this down on your calendars. Our next Super Saturday is that same day on the 12th, right? And it starts at 10 a.m. Eastern time and 7 a.m. Pacific time. So if you guys are on the East Coast, you guys are lucky because us West Coasters have to be up at the crack of dawn on a Saturday, right, for a Super Saturday. But it's all good, right? Because we're serious about our business. So make sure you guys put this down on your calendars. Make sure you leverage these events because this is how you condense time frames. All right. I know that the heroes, the East Coast heroes, had an awesome retreat. And I'm going to ask a few people to step up and talk about it. But I know these events are amazing events because it's not just on Zoom, right? We're not just on Zoom. You're not just hearing somebody speak like me on Zoom. You actually get to meet each other in person. You guys get to break bread. You guys, hang out in the house, talk about the business, hear from the top leaders. It becomes personal, like family, right? So Eric Olson always says, you train online, but you build in person. This is where we go from business partners to family, right? So I want to invite some of the people that were at this event to speak for a few minutes. I don't know, Michael, if you had a list of who is actually going to speak, but we want to go ahead and invite some of the people that were able to take advantage of this amazing event in Tennessee with Mario Bayona and his hierarchy. So go ahead. Michael, do you have a list or are we just going to invite people to speak?
I'll just invite some people to speak. They know who they are.
All right, you guys know who you are. So who wants to go first? Go ahead and tell us about all the amazing nuggets you got out of it and what you got out of this event that you guys had this past weekend.
Ladies first.
All right.
Ladies first.
Anthony?
Go ahead, ladies.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
gonna
say
share.
something.
All
I'm
right.
a
Well,
lady
it looks
and I
like
want to go first, so we'll share.
all right, we'll go Valentina first because ladies first, and then we can go Anthony because I know he had his hand raised. So go ahead, Valentina.
There were a lot of amazing tips, ideas, and motivation with a lot of mindset strategies. And I've been reviewing my notes the last couple days. And there was one thing that I wrote, and I just wanted to share really fast, is when we trying to get referral that say, who do you know that might be looking for additional, income? And Mario Bayona suggested that we go a little more specific because when we ask like that, the person will say, I don't know anybody. But what about if I say, who do you know that speaks Spanish that is a teacher? So then the mind of the person is going to narrow down more the people that they might know that speak Spanish and they are a teacher. So the more specific we are, the more the person is going to trigger the brain to go for the names. And also it's going to be more easier to have a good response. And I put it on an example with somebody is like when I go to a restaurant and he comes the waiter asking me what I want to eat, I don't say, I want food. I'm very specific. I want, I don't know, chicken salad with the dressing on the side and things like that. So the more specific we are, the better response we're going to get or what that referral might be. So I think that was a great tip. So apply it when you are using that script with your people. But I know everybody here have a lot of things to share. So I'm going to let Wendy share a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you, Valentina. That's a great point. You got to be very specific because if you just say, hey, Wendy, do you know anybody? She's going to be like, yeah, the guy that's sleeping on my couch in the basement or whatever, right? No, you got to be, I want someone who's sharp. They're number one at their company, or they're a businesswoman like Wendy, and they're super positive and great energy. And guess what? They're going to refer you a Wendy. They're going to refer you a Michael. Go ahead, Wendy. Let us know what you got out of the event.
Thank you, Isaac. And Valentina, it was awesome to get to spend time with you and get to know you more and all the other people. Like I want to reach through the hug and through the Zoom screen and just give everyone a giant hug because I feel like I know you guys even more. I've completely and totally fallen in love with Winnie, the baby who was on the trip. She's our mascot and such a good baby. But after all, we are built on the 5 F's, the fulfillment formula: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. And what was cool was being in the homes of Rob and Erica Chan, and they're maniacs. They even have a jumbotron in their family room in the basement. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, that stretched my vision. We're in the process of looking for a new home to buy, and I was like, this one house that we were considering, it's like that house is not going to cut it. And then we went to Mario and Erica's home, and they treated us like family. It was amazing, but it was so cool to get to see how his little daughter Mia, she's 4 years old, how at any point during the conversation, uh, she could just walk over to him, and he would just pick her up and scoop her up and set her in in his lap. And it reminded me of when I was that age and my dad would do that. It was like so sweet and so special. But Michael really brought it. He made sure that we were learning from the best of the best. You'll notice in the photo there's a kind of a short guy where Michael and there are three other gentlemen with him. The short guy, he's actually he was the #1 recruiter in GFI last year.
That's right.
#1. Standing next to him is Mario Bayona, the #2 when it comes to income in our company. So he made this past month $423,000 in passive income. Let that sink in for a second. 423,000. And he started in this business 19 years ago. Some of the people he started with, they're still on his team. Imagine if you were in traditional sales. Do you think you'd still be getting paid for it all these years later? No. Part of my background is in media, and I remember our broadcast account executives, they had an account for, I think it was 3 to 5 years, and then it became a house account. So that meant no matter if they were nurturing that account, they still were not going to get paid on it, or they were going to get paid peanuts on it. So imagine that you still are getting paid and it's continuing to grow all these years later. And then Evan, who was next to him, what a heart, was a missionary for 7 years, never made more than $500 in 1 month, and made $86,000 last month. And I'm going to hush because you guys are going to hear more from me later, but I am just so fired up, and I'm so grateful for Michael for putting this together. So grateful for Rochelle for saying, yeah, go ahead, be gone for the weekend. And so grateful that amazing 5-story house that we had an elevator. So thank you very much. And
Awesome,
I'm going to call the next person that I see. And Anthony, Tony,
Sure.
you're the person I see next. And thank you for that really cool notebook. I love it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
First
Awesome,
of
brother.
all,
Before you get started, Tony, I want to say one thing.
sure.
I remember Robert Chan when he was brand new. I remember when his
Wow.
wife was not even in business with him. He was a young Chinese guy that was raised in Jamaica, by
Yes.
the way.
Yes.
We call him Rob Marley because he's Chinese but raised in Jamaica, right?
Mhm.
And I remember that he had nobody on his team, and he just started becoming very good at recruiting, and the rest is history, right? But go ahead, Anthony. I know you're fired up. You want to go ahead and share, so it's all yours,
Oh,
man.
sure,
Go ahead.
sure. First of all, thank you to Michael. I mean, he makes everything surreal. Anytime you're around him, he just elevates your mood and he gives you real clear vision. And he put this whole thing together. He put it, the thing, that's the thing that was so great about it is Steve is even better looking in person. Stephen Terrell is even better looking in person. Wendy Robbins is even sweeter in person. Valentina, you're just so fun. Your accent's amazing. But it really brought the personal touch to make this real. It made it real. So Michael makes it real when you talk to him on the screen even, but when you're in person with him and you're interacting with everybody, the vision casting, not just hearing it from Michael, but seeing it live out was just amazing. And then to see teammates being fired up, and then Wendy sharing things. And I've met RJ before. I crashed the party at his house about a month ago and had some nachos over there with him and Michael. But then I got to see him share some things, and his wife Angel. So we have all these, here's all this stuff about money and all this kind of stuff. Hey, we can help you guys be winners, whatever. But then there was also a time where Angel was sharing some things that she was sharing through tears. So it makes us really understand that we're just not here to sell a widget. We're here to touch people and to see her life get affected positively. And then they have this really good looking son, Michael Brandon. He was just an awesome kid. I love that guy. I think he's on here. He might even be on here. So I just want to say, give me a renewed vision to say, you know what, you can do this. It's not hard, but it's simple. You're gonna have to put the work in. Just stay on the phone all the time. And it really reminded me how I like to be as a believer. I'm always looking around for somebody that needs Jesus. Well, there's people that everybody needs Jesus. but everybody needs insurance. Everybody can be a customer. Somebody can be helped by this. So I started thinking more evangelistically on how to reach out to people that everybody is a possible person that could need our help. That's it. I'm sorry. Hopefully I didn't go too long.
No, you're good, Anthony. Thank you. That was great feedback. And like you said, it makes it real, man. It makes it real. You realize we're real people. We all are just sharing our stories, and everybody here truly, truly wants the best for each other. You'll never, I don't know, in my whole entire life, I've never found an environment of any business where everybody truly wants to help each other. And it's not fake, right? They're not making it up. They're not doing it because of whatever. This is our culture. This is our environment. And every single one of the people, all these successful people all started where you're at right now. So awesome. Steven, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the event?
It's good evening, everybody. And Isaac, you just took my thunder. I want to firstly say thank you to Michael and Coach Michael and Rochelle. It was great, spirit of excellence. That's what I've noticed about Michael. He walks in a spirit of excellence, and I appreciate that. I know that's God given. But real short, Isaac, I was just what I was about to say. It's the culture. Um, the culture is genuine and it's nurturing and it's there. If we walk away from it, it won't be God or the devil's fault. It'll be our fault. It's here. And they're giving us a blueprint. This guy made $423,000 last month, and he showed up after golfing 100 degrees plus heat index to train us at about 8 o'clock at night at Saturday night. So they're there. They're committed to help us. But I'll leave you with this that Mario said. You got to decide and really search yourself what you want. You got to decide what you want. And then once you decide what you want, you got to be all in and go for it. And GFI, go for it.
Awesome. Thank you, Steven. And by the way, it's more powerful when it comes from you because I've always been on this team, right? So I don't know any better, right? But when somebody
new.
that's been, yeah, well, you tell us you have 30 years in the industry, you've been at so many different companies. When somebody like Steven comes in here, he's seen it all. He says, this is the best thing out there. I mean,
Best I've seen.
that tells me the dream, right? Because how do I know? I've been here my whole career, right? But I feel very grateful that I landed in the best team and the best company, right? But when you say that, Steven, it's more powerful because
I'm excited and I haven't even made any money yet. So you know.
Let's go. Right. Excitement is the first step,
You
right?
will soon.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
amen.
all right. So let's go ahead and have RJ and Angel. I know this was a big, big event for them. I know that they're in Tennessee and they had a lot of teammates there. So we'll go ahead and have RJ and Angel speak a little bit real quick.
Awesome. Angel, you want to go first or you want me to?
I was gonna say let Mikey go first.
Okay.
Oh man. All right, no, the trip was awesome. It's just like always being in person is so much better than on camera because I mean, what I've only see this much of you guys on screen. And then whenever you're in person, I mean, I met Kizzy in person. I mean, I thought she was like probably half the height she was. Shoot, man, she's way taller than I thought. Being in the presence of Mario Bayona and just being in that room with everybody is just like so empowering and I know everyone I'm speaking for everyone when I say this. Everyone that was on that retreat left that retreat with so much fire inside of them. The only thing that we got to do is just keep that fire lit, keep it going. I know everyone wants their promotion. Everyone wants to get to that next EMD. But in order to get to the EMD, you got to do the things that an EMD does. You don't need to be an EMD to do the things an EMD does. You got to do there. You got to do it now. Get there first. That's all I got to say.
Awesome job.
Great point. That is a great point. By the way, Michael, I just want to say something real quick. I just saw something on Instagram the other day. It said, if you want to be something, you have to act like it before you get there. Right. So, I mean, you got it, man. That's amazing. I mean, and I don't know. I'm not a dad, but if I was a dad and I would see my son speaking up here and doing this, I would be super proud. I would have this like little butterfly feeling in in there, you know, because that's wild. You know, I see like a little young RJ right here. It's crazy. Like I feel like I'm looking at RJ 20 something years ago, right? Anyways, go ahead, Angel and RJ. You guys can continue, but great job, Michael.
Minus the mustache. He's not allowed to have a mustache. That was awesome. Oh man, this weekend was great. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, Rochelle. Really, it's we have such incredible leaders, you guys. It's really their relationships and how amazing they are and how selfless they are and how they help train other teams that even allowed some of these amazing guests to, first of all, have us in their home and in their personal space, which, by the way, these guys have not opened their homes up for people outside of their teams before. So, and that's a direct correlation to the beautiful relationships and really selflessness that Michael and Rochelle always have for every team in GFI. It's really amazing that we were allowed to even, hear from these guys. So we had a lot of really wonderful guests that even came over to the house. The house was amazing. I hope somebody got a really good video of how awesome that Airbnb was. Was it like 5 flights or how many? I don't know. It was a lot of stories. Big old elevator that went up in there. So very cool. That was awesome. But really, I love to hear from some of the newer agents that are even just, getting started and how they're feeling and what their thoughts were as they were at this retreat. Because it's very inspiring to hear from you guys. So I'll pass it on.
Absolutely.
All right, RJ.
Yep, absolutely. So it's always good getting in person like that because you get to bond and you get to have, more intimate conversations. You get the feeling, the sense, because when you're on Zoom, when you're on, like, you're missing some of the ways that you communicate with each other. And just some of the things that they talked about was just very, very inspiring, right? And so I'll just kind of highlight just a couple of bullet points that I kind of took away. But number one is you got to have a clarity of vision, right? How do you get a clarity of vision? So what do you want? Why do you want it? And what are you willing to give in order to get there, right? Because things are not just going to magically happen to you. You got to figure out what do you want, why do you want it, and what are you willing to give in order to get there. And that's actually the laws of think and grow rich, right? And planning those goals and weak attachment, right? When you have weak attachment, that creates wishy-washy behavior. And that was a quote that it gave us, and it was like very, very true. Because if you don't know why you're here, then all of a sudden something's going to happen and you're going to do wherever, right? You're going to go off to the movie, you're going to go off to the dinner, you're going to go off to the show, you're going to go hang out with whoever, and you're not really going to build your business. And so you got to have a very clear goal of what do you want, why do you want it, and what are you going to do in order to get there. And then they talked about the reality check, right? The reality check is the way you're working right now. Is it going to get you where do you want to go? And you got to be brutally honest with yourself, absolutely brutally honest with yourself. And so many people think that they're working way harder than they really are, right? Your fears do matter. But do they motivate you or do they paralyze you? Right? Do they motivate you or paralyze you? And so again, it goes back to knowing what you want. Why do you want to get there? Having a production mindset, right? Volume solves everything. Volume solves everything. The numbers don't lie, right? And he asked us, he said, like, how many, he asked us, he said, how big is your agencies? And I was the one that answered, we have 58 licensed agents. And he goes, okay, but not all of them are writing. How many of them are writing? And it was about 10%, 15% or so that are actually writing policies every single month. And he gave the example of 4,200 licensed agents in his business and 410 wrote a policy. So it's about 10%. So the only difference is he has 410 people writing a policy every single month. And so guess what? You got to scale up. You got to focus on recruiting. You got to focus on building that agency. And so the same problems, the same challenges that you have running a small team, you have running a big team. It's just a lot easier to deal with that. And so stay focused on recruiting and building. And that's how you're going to continue to go. And that leads me to the next thing, which is a recruiting focus, right? You got to have a recruiting focus. Talk more about where you're going, not where we are, right? Talk more about where you're going. And so just think about, like, every conversation you're trying to have is, how do I get to that next level? And it's all about building the agency. I'm so proud about the Russells. They brought 4 recruits on in the last like couple of days here. They're focused on personally recruiting, right? And now guess what? They're going to start tap rooting those guys. I had a personal guest on the BPM today, and he was fired up, and I'm going to talk to him tomorrow and try and bring him on board as well too. But stay focused on the recruiting, right? Your focus, like right now, we have what, 13 days left of this month. Can you go get one recruit? Can you go get one recruit? And then having a high energy and high identity. And how do you develop that? Well, number one, energy is, you got to be excited about where you're going. You got to be excited about where you're trying to, where you're at now and where you're going to go, but also start to work on your identity as well too. And your identity is the books that you read, the tapes that you listen to, the people that you associate with. And that's why it's good around getting these small rooms. Compete to be at every one of these small rooms, because when you start to get around those small rooms, you start to build a higher identity. You start to feel better about yourself, and associating with those people will help elevate you to another level. So there's a couple other things, but that's kind of the big things that I really took away. So I'll pass it back over to you, Isaac. It was an incredible event. Thank you, Michael and Rochelle, again for hosting and putting that all together. It's incredible to be in business together.
Awesome, RJ. Thank you so much. And the Pimentels are awesome. And I know their team is exploding right now. So I'm excited to see where you guys are headed. And let's finish it up with just a little bit from Todd and Bella, and then we'll go ahead with the rest of the announcements. So Todd, Bella, are you guys there?
Yeah, brother. Yes,
All right,
yes.
Todd. Let's
How's
go.
everyone doing? Is everyone awake tonight on Zoom? In Zoom land. Is everyone awake? I want to see some like throw the things up on the screen. Come on. All right. Wendy's awake. Lucia's awake. I'm looking for everyone. Lucia's definitely awake. All right. I'm making sure I'm in the right room. So I'm gonna kind of keep it in the same vein as RJ. Does everyone have their pencil? If you do, if you were there, you probably got the notes. If not, get your pencil ready, right? So what I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna bring straight from Mario's mouth over Zoom into your living room, and hopefully into your brain and into your business. Is that okay? Because we've heard a lot about, like, what was the trip like? It was phenomenal. Let me just tell you guys, one, again, to say it because it needs to be said, thank you to Michael and Rochelle. So this is a huge deal. Imagine renting out a 5-story Airbnb with elevators and rooftop terraces and stuff like that, buying, dinner for everyone and breakfast and everything. Like, that's what we have in GFI. And that's just Michael pouring back in, like investing and pouring into the team. So thank you to Michael and Ro. Guys, to give you an idea, I just want to kind of encapsulate this because maybe you're newer here. I'm kind of flipping through so I can see everyone. Maybe you're newer here, or maybe not. Maybe you've been around for a minute. But the room doesn't get any smaller than this. This is a huge deal, right? So we say, like, fight to get in the small rooms. Like, what does that mean? So Mario is at this point number 2 in the company. So Michael and Rochelle facilitated a weekend-long retreat with the number 2 person in the company, making $4 million a year. And then they have another one with the number 1 earner in the company for the rest of the team, for the West Coast team, right? So there's no smaller room. And here's the secret sauce, guys. I want you to know, Michael and Rochelle aren't listening, but they're looking for leaders. They're looking for people to show out and step up, because it's fun and when we're all together, but we want to have 2 5-story houses to fill up. Right. So they're looking for leaders to come on these next trips. So what does that look like? Get out and recruit, get out and write business, right? Step up. Hey, coach, how can I help? How can I bring value to the team? That's what he's looking for. And then you can be in these small rooms too. The invite's open. We just, we want to have the right people. We want to have the people in the room that are looking to do big things. So can I bring you guys some direct quotes from Mario? You guys got your pencils ready? Okay. So the first one he said, and I have this in big block letters in my notebook here. He said, guys, no BS. This is not a good time to not be having a good time. This is the expansion phase. This is it. We're expanding like crazy right now in the business. Don't miss it. This is the expansion phase. This is not a good time to not be having a good time. There's a huge opportunity within GFI and within our industry, with 78 million people retiring Lots of people are having babies still, right? I got to hang out with my beautiful little niece. Like $1 million babies need to happen too. So don't miss it. Next, he said, and this is for you guys, right? So write this down. This is not me. This is Mario asking you the question, okay? Less than 3% of the people are very clear on what they want in the next 24 to 36 months. Are you? Do you know exactly what you want? Do you know why you want that? Do you know what you're willing to give up in order to attain that? It's not always addition. It's what do I have to subtract in order to get there? And then how will you get there? So you said your level of sacrifice is directly proportional to your level of success. So think about it. You don't need to post it in the chat or anything, but think about that, right? So we wrote that down and everyone's kind of journaling and thinking on that. So a couple other nuggets. Big, it's not big that eats small, it's fast that eats slow. So a lot of times we're talking to someone and it's like, I don't know if I can recruit them, right? I need Mario, Michael, right? So it's not always, you don't always need the club to put in the nail. It's fast eats slow. So the person who's just moving faster, they're doing more activity, is always going to be the winner. That doesn't mean, by all means, leverage when you need to, right? Use your leverage. But fast beats slow every day of the week. All right. He said, stay consistent with the boring stuff. Do the no's, do the calls, right? There's no shortcuts. The shortcuts don't work. Technology has made it easy, but technology doesn't necessarily make success easier. You still have to put in the work. So it's hardest, he said, it's hardest when you don't see the results right away. Anyone feel that? It's instant gratification world out there. Can we agree? Anyone have a day where you call 100 people and like one person picks up, you're like, oh my God, this doesn't work. It does work, right? And we know that. And if you've ever closed one pot, you're like, I know this works, but it doesn't work today, right? So we don't see the results right away. So we what? We slow down. And then you're not consistent enough to get the traction to your wheels. So you need to stay consistent enough, be okay with delayed gratification and get traction to your wheels so they can bite the ground and launch you off. You guys hearing that? You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Are you catching what I'm throwing? Are you eating what I'm cooking? Nobody is? Oh my Lord. Guys, I have bad handwriting. I was trying to decipher this for you to bring it to you. I wanted to make sure I got the quotes right. All right, there we go. All right, he said, so this was powerful, right? He said, guys, we're sitting in by the way, Mario's home, it's not even a home, it's an estate, $8 million estate, 10,000 plus square feet, elevators. We got greeted by like his house manager. I was like, I didn't even know that was a
House
job.
manager. Yep.
House manager. I was like, dang, he had a kit. He had a Michael and I were laughing. He's got a kitchen for his kitchen, right? Anyways, he said, guys, our business is really hard for a short period of time. You're breathing life into something from nothing. You have to start this. So it's really hard for a short period of time. And then it gets easy for a long period of time. Guess what? I've also heard this from our very own coach, right? One of the best, right? And just so you know, people are like, Michael, what are you doing? Boo, 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 boo. They were talking to him too. So it can be really hard for a short period of time and then really easy for a long period of time. Or he said, you can kind of just stay lukewarm and it can be mediocre for a long time. It's your choice, right? So he said, get through it. Get through sucking. Get through people no-showing. Build your team. And why recruiting, right? So RJ mentioned the recruiting piece. Here's the key. So Mario has 4,000 licensed agents. And we're talking about anyone here, drop like just a thumbs up in the screen, right? If you want to have a legacy. Like, hey, I'm bought into the GFI dream. All right, Jerry's in, right? There's a big thumb, Gemini, Susan. All right. So like, hey, I want the dream, the GFI, I'll pass this on to my family. He's like, if it's just you, guys, what are you passing on? If it's an army of one, there's nothing to pass on. So the legacy play comes in with the business you've built inside the business, inside GFI, right? So ask yourself, right now in my business, what am I leaving? What's my legacy actually look like? And we can change that. So why recruiting? Because that's the legacy play. That's the cash flow play. You guys tracking me? All right, find your fire. So the buy-in is during the tough times, right? So we were talking about the entrepreneur X curve. So we see in the movies, anyone here seen the Pursuit of Happiness? Great movie with Will Smith, right? And we've seen, remember the Titans and like all these movies, they go through the absolute, they're in the mud, right? They go through it and they come out and we love the champion story, right? We're like, wow, they had such grit. That was amazing. But then we go, no, I didn't ever fill out a form. I already got insurance. That sounds good. Can you send me some information? I got to go. I'm at work. And we're like, oh, gosh, dang it. It doesn't work. It's not, right? So that's not true. We get motivated. We get inspired with the movies, right? And they're true stories. These are true stories. And so we see it. We're inspired. We're motivated. But then when it happens to us, there's a disconnect. There's a breakdown. Like, I don't know. Because like, this is my little world today in the business. But that's our buy-in for the dream, guys. So don't discount your buy-in. Buy into that, right? And push through it so that you can build this and pass on that legacy. So find your fire and that'll help push you through. I'm almost done. So he said, some people look for opportunities to succeed. This is a mentality shift for you. So write this down. Some people look for opportunities to succeed and other people look for excuses to not work. Anyone ever make an excuse? I got to be honest. I think I got a lot of grit. Like I put in a lot of hours, but there's some time I'm like, oh man, I'm human. We're all human here, right? Like, oh, I stubbed my toe. I can't work. Or maybe it's something legitimate. So he was talking to us about parents, right? He's like, don't use your kids as an excuse. He's like, really, 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 if we look at what's the quality time you're spending with them. So you have to have business amnesia, right? So talking about that grit and pushing through those times, right? To breathe that life into your business. He said, you have to have business amnesia, have a short-term memory. The longer you stay frustrated, the longer you stay down, the longer you stay annoyed, the longer whatever, fill in the blank, the more money you're losing. The longer it's taking you to get to that legacy play. The less of a team you have, right? The longer you're staying at that desk, but not hanging out with your kids. So the last one, and this is the best one. So I hope you guys got that pen warmed up. I'm going to leave you with the best one. So 4 equals 1. And when he said that, I was like, man, I knew I was good at math. C's do get degrees. I knew it. I knew 4 equals 1, Mario. I knew it, right? So what is 4 equal 1? So for every 4 recruits, you're going to have 1 person who's active. So RJ kind of broke down those metrics. He's like, yeah, it was about 10%, right? About 10%. And then Mario showed us his business. He kind of opened up the books. And guess what? It was about 10%. But it was 4,000 people being active. I was like, dang, you're making how much for that? So for every 4 people you recruit, think about like, okay, how many, does anyone here want to have a, I'm not even going to say recruit a bunch of people. Does anyone here want to have a massive passive income? We're going to channel Greg Cap. Put it, yeah, Lucia, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. Anybody? Put it in a little boop, boop, boop. Massive passive income, right? As Greg Cap says. All right. So if you want 1 person who's active on your team, ideally it's going to be a full-time person. You need to recruit 4 people to find 1 person who's going to be in it, who's going to be in the hunt, who gets it and wants to put in the work. Now, what do we know about the numbers? Guys, write this down. I'm breaking it all down for you, so there's no surprises here. It's just math. 4 equals 1. And what do we know? 10, 6, 3, 1. You have 10 conversations. I always say we invite 10 people to Independence Day. 6 people say, Bella, I'm for sure going to be there. 3 people actually show up and 1 person stays for the fireworks. You're like, well, that was the whole point. We were doing dogs and the fireworks, right? So 10, 6, 3, 1. So quick math question. Drop it in the chat. How many people do we need to get to get 1 active person on there? On our team? How many conversations? Yeah, Terrence, bam, 40. Okay, so now you have that number. That doesn't mean I made 40 calls. That means I had 40 what? Qualified conversations. Qualified. We got to qualify them, right? That's very important. We got to know what market we're in. So, and what do we know and Isaac says this all the time, we find an EMD, one EMD in a what? Hit him with it, Isaac.
4 deep leg.
In a 4 deep lab, they don't remember, right? So does all the math, my biggest takeaway was this, all the maths, right? If you put it all together, it all adds up as a whole for the equation. So have 40 conversations, recruit 4 people, you're going to get 1 active person. And in that leg, you're going to have 1 EMD. Sound good, guys? I'll let Bella kind of finish up, and I want to hear Winnie had an awesome time. She was a great baby. The last thing I'll tell you guys is this: does anyone want to get to EMD? Any future EMDs here? All right. I know Anthony. Anthony's coming. Terrence has got it. All right. So Levi Mamoni would say, get to EMD as fast as you can, and then spend your whole life doing what?
Promoting EMDs.
Promoting EMDs. So here's what you need to do. You need to find really 2 studs in your business. The first one is you need to find a marketing director so that you can get to EMD. And then after your EMD, you need to find another EMD who's your ride or die. Roger that. I hope that was valuable to you guys. I didn't want to give you Todd. I wanted to give you like as much, like, here's what Mario told you from the trip. So Bella, what was your favorite part, sister? Winnie did amazing. She was the star of the show.
She really wanted to talk tonight, but hey girl. So I mean, for me, it's like the culture, right? So it's hearing the backstories of, Mario's story. He needed to take care of his dad. Right? His dad was on dialysis. Like, they need to be able to pay for that. That's a lot of time in the hospital. Right? We had, that missionary couple. They had $500 a month coming in. Right? Sometimes things just need to change. I mean, the Pimentel Power couple, right? That was inspiring. Like Angel's on bed rest with her pregnancy. She's shoving RJ out of the car to go see clients because she couldn't do it herself. I'm like, are you kidding me? Bringing her kids to meetings. I'm like, we got some awesome people surrounding us. So to just see that family culture, right? Mario's little girl was hopping in his lap. Right, Robert Chan's little girl was floating around there too when we were at their house. Like, to be, a mom myself, I'm like, oh yeah, like my vision's too small. My vision's too small. I'm here. I got my little girl. She gonna be in business too, right?
Love Winnie.
That's right.
Love her. Come here, Winnie. Come here.
I know. Look it. We missing everyone, huh? Yeah. But oh man, it was so inspiring just to get that fire lit. To expand the vision and to see just what's coming for us. Oh man, thank you so much, Michael and Rochelle. Like, what a fantastic weekend. I appreciate it so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Bella. And isn't it awesome you can actually bring your young child to an actual work event? You know what I mean? Like, if you were at a job, they would be like, no, this ain't happening, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where can you do that?
Yeah.
Angel.
So thank you guys for all your feedback. I need to burn through these rest of announcements, but I know this was very important. Even though this take a while, I know you guys are getting a lot of value out of this. If you got some value out of this, please put a fire emoji in the chat. Let's get this going. I'm going to speed through this, but thank you guys for everybody who spoke. And for those of you that are able to go to the next one, make sure you're there. So the best meeting is the next meeting. They always say that, right? All right. So let me keep going. Let's talk about some new promotions here. So these are the congratulations to Lane Morford for getting a senior associate promotion. What a champion. He got a 25% raise. Congratulations, Lane. Let's talk about the Base Shop scoreboard. So these are the top people in the Base Shop that are putting up the numbers, right? So A-Rod, number 1, Alon, number 2, this guy Isaac, tied for number 2, right? But guess what? We still got 2 weeks left. So who's going to end up number 1 at the end of the month? Right now, you guys have a 35 on the board. Looks like it's a little slow this month. Everyone's on summer mode, so we got to finish strong, right? By the way, September, October, and November are the best months in the entire business, right? So make sure you guys finish August strong to have a great September, October, and November. And now here's Team Pimentel, RJ, always leading from the front with double digits in 10, and Tom and Jennifer at number 2 and Charity at number 3, right? I know Tom and Jennifer are amazing too. I know their team's growing. All right, so let's talk about some updates and announcements. So let's go. 1 million point base shop. So if you're in Michael and Rochelle's base shop, the goal is 1 million points. You guys are almost there. By the way, this is amazing. You guys have come a long way in the last 12 months and the last year. So make sure you guys are pushing hard to finish strong and hit that goal, that milestone of a 1 million point base shop. That's amazing. I think there's less than 10 1 million point base shops in the entire company. So when you guys make it there, you guys are going to make history together. So everybody push, finish strong. We still got time to finish this month strong for you guys to hit that 1 million point base shop. All right, so don't forget, we can't surprise you if we can't find you. Refresh your Teva page, update your address, your shirt size, so that way if you ever get recognition, the right shirt gets sent to you, right, and the right address. And all right, together we connect, together we conquer. So this is our actual daily phone zones, right? This is where you can plug in daily or plug in your team daily. Everybody's investing time, energy into hosting these phone zones. So make sure you and your team are there. We have morning huddle at 9. We have licensed agents at 11, dial for leads at 11, beginners leads at 3, advanced leads at 3. So if you are available, make sure you are on these, because all these people are devoting their time and energy to help you guys learn. And send your new agents to this so that way they can get used to a full-time schedule. Like they say, when someone comes from a job, they're used to being told what to do, right? You can't expect them to think like a business owner. You have to tell them, hey, this is our schedule. This is what you got to be on. So make sure you're pushing your teammates there, and make sure you're there as well, because you got to lead from the front. And we also got this awesome incentive going on. So 1 and 1 gets you a custom GFI shirt. 3 and 3 is level 2, gets you a shirt and a custom GFI hat. 5 and 5, that's 5 recruits and 5 pieces of business. And at least 2 of those recruits have to be personal, and 2 of those sales, you get a shirt, a hat, and a $250 cash bonus. Who would like just extra cash for doing your job, right? And then if you get 10 and 10, which is elite level, and 3 of those recruits have to be personal, and 3 of those sales have to be personal, you get a shirt, you get a hat, and you get a $500 bonus. And this is coming out of the Chernowski's pocket, right? So make sure you guys are running and gunning for this. Are you going to be level 1, bronze, silver, gold, or elite, right? We got a few more weeks to get this done. Awesome. All right. And if you have any new agents that are not licensed, make sure you leverage the licensing bootcamp with Rodrigo. This is 6 days a week, right? 6 days a week, 2 different time zones, or 1 time zone, it says right here, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, etc. If you have new people that need to get licensed, put them in the licensing bootcamp, have Rodrigo help them study and pass their exam. All right, so I'm going to talk about this really, really quick, but I noticed that the script on the onboarding 2 was incomplete, right? It was a little bit off. And I was like, man, this needs to be fixed, right? So I said, man, we need to fix it. We need to put some closing lines on there. We need to fix this up so people can actually get some results. So if you're doing inspirational marketing and you're trying to set up field training appointments for a trainee, this is the script that as the trainer you want to use. So can I get a volunteer real quick, Todd? Can you be my volunteer? All right, perfect. And then let's say I'm calling for Wendy and I'm calling Todd because Todd is on Wendy's top 100 list or top 10 list. So ring, ring.
Hello? Oh, wait, are you calling me or
no.
you're calling Todd?
I'm calling Todd, right?
Oh,
So you're the trainee. Todd's
Okay.
the thing.
Okay,
Hey,
sorry.
Todd. Yeah. Hey, Todd, how's it going?
Good. Who's this?
Yeah. Hey, this is Isaac, man. And the reason I'm calling is because I'm calling on behalf of your friend Wendy. You know Wendy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Say hi, Wendy.
Hi there. Hey, Todd, what's up?
Hey girl, how's it going?
Oh,
So
pretty
guess
good,
what?
T-O-double-D.
Now Todd knows Wendy's on the line. So first of all, Todd knows it's legit, and I'm not someone just trying to call. And Todd's going to be on his best behavior because his good friend Wendy is actually listening, right? So, hey, Todd, I don't know if you heard, but Wendy just took a position with Global Financial Impact, and she's super excited about it. She's actually going through our training right now, and she was wondering if you and your spouse would be able to help her out.
Yeah, like, yeah. What do you need me to do?
So they're going to say, what do you need me to do? What is it? Whatever, right? I'm saying, great. All we need to do is hop on a quick Zoom in the next day or so where Wendy will share, we'll share with you what Wendy's going to be doing in her new career path so that she can learn, but also that way, if you ever come across anyone that would benefit from what we do, you can have the confidence to refer them to her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what day works better for you and your spouse, tomorrow or the next day?
Tomorrow we're booked. I could probably do the next day.
Okay, perfect. So morning, afternoon, or evening?
If we could do evening, that would be great because then I'd be off work.
Perfect. Let me check my calendar right here. So I have either like a 6 or 7 p.m. Which one works better for you and your spouse, Todd?
Sure. Yeah, let's do 7. That way I can get the kids down.
Okay, perfect. So, hey, by the way, I know you and your spouse are very busy, Todd. I'm very busy too. So out of respect for each other's time, can we make sure we keep this appointment for the day after next at 7 p.m.?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And I know you're going to learn a lot and feel very, very good about what you hear. Thank you so much, pretty much. So anyways, I just noticing I need to fix this a little bit, but do you guys get it right? Do you guys get, that's all we got to do. If you have a brand new person and you call their list and you set up training appointments, right? I guarantee if you use the script, and by the way, the reason that I confirmed the appointment at the end is because if you don't do that, guess what? There's a high chance they're going to reschedule or they're not going to show up, right? But what did I do? I made Todd own it. If you say it, they defend it. They say it, they own it. I said, Todd, I know you're busy, you and your spouse. We're busy too. So out of respect for each other's time, can we make sure we keep this appointment? It doesn't mean he's not going to reschedule, but if he does, he knows he gave his word to me and Wendy. So he's going to probably at least call Wendy or text her and say, hey, look, I know I said that, we're going to be available tomorrow, but hey, something came up. Can we reschedule? That makes sense? And there's only going to be a couple objections. Literally, there's only about 2 or 3 main objections. They might say, so what is this about? Oh, it's just for their training, right? So what day works best for you and your spouse? That's it, right? Do I have to buy anything? No, absolutely not. It's just for their training. So that way you can send them some referrals down the road. So what day works best for you and your spouse? You get right back to it, right? What do you guys do? We basically teach people how to make and save money and build a strong financial house. Have you heard of a financial house? No. Great. You'll learn all about this when we sit down for their training. What day works best for you and your spouse? Is this like a MLM or a pyramid? You might get this. We don't get this that much anymore. We used to get it all the time, right? But just say, no, absolutely not. The trainee had to get a state license or Wendy had to get her state license. We're a highly regulated industry, just like the banking industry. Does that make sense, Todd? Yeah, great. Okay. So what day works best for you and your spouse? That's it. I guarantee you, if you get a brand new recruit, you make a list, you set up 10 training appointments at least with this script, I guarantee you guys will have some results. So I just wanted to do that. I just noticed we have to do a couple little edits or whatever, but thanks to ChatGPT, all I got to do is put it in there and tell it what I needed to do. But I hope this is going to help you guys. This is the trainee calling the trainer calling for the trainee, but we're also going to put this on the actual Ethos script that the trainee does as well. But I hope if you guys like this or if you thought this was pretty good, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. If you think this is a little bit better than what it currently has now, because I thought what it has now is a little bit incomplete, right? All right, awesome. So we're just going to have Valentina talk a little bit about the Ethos FinTech Fast Start bonus, and then we'll go ahead and bring up our awesome trainer of the evening. But I hope you guys are still fired up. I hope you guys are excited. There's a lot of good things going on here, and we're just always trying to make the business better for you guys. So Valentina, are you there?
Yes, I am. And can you please allow me to share the screen, please?
Yes, 1 second. Let me just press stop share real quick. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Can we see that?
Yes.
We can see it now. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to talk today about the Fast Start program with Ethos. and I'm going to share, what it is about, how can we apply it, most important about the 75-day clock, and at the end, I'm going to share some common Q&A. Let me share the screen. So, what is the idea of this program? And by the way, GFI is the only one that have this beautiful fast start program with ethos. So we are the blessed ones. And the idea is that once we bring a business partner into GFI and they are on license, the person can start training with another agent, and meanwhile that policy that they share together through ethos, that money can be saved on an account and wait for them until they get licensed and the national producer national producer number. So they are going to be a shadow from the trainer. They're going to be doing part of the work with the trainer, with application, talking with the clients and everything. And then most important, they need to verify at the end with ethos. If you don't do it, this is not going to work for you, your national producer number when you get it. And what is important to know, this is when you bring a business partner with you, you can start training live, like really applications and talking with clients with me or the trainers while you get your license. So this is a great incentive, and again, it's only for GFI. The basic flow, how that work? Let's say that my new business partner, let me see who's here today. I'm going to choose somebody that I don't know. I think I know everybody. Let's say I'm going to choose Gemini, and I hope you are in the line. So Gemini just joined GFI. She went through the process with Fernanda, and then I'm going to take Gemini with me. I have a client. We're going to go through ethos, and she's going to shadow me. Then we're going to set up the application. In the application, I put her information as the split, and then when she passed her test, she will go to ethos, or we go to ethos. We put her national producer number, and then she will have a beautiful, hopefully, compensation in the next pay cycle. Again, this is only for GFI, so that's very important because other companies don't have it, and you can offer that when you are trying to bring somebody into your team. So the order thing that need to happen, the agent login in ethos. Let's say that Anthony is going to be the agent. He log in ethos in his portal. He start the application. He add the trainee, and then you set the ratio of the compensation split. You agree that with the trainee, and then after that, you are able to continue offering other applications with your trainee. Very important also, you can have 3 people in that policy. You can have it split between 3 people. And also, you can have as many trainee as you want. So it doesn't have to be only 1 trainee as an agent. So again, an agent that have a license can have 2 unlicensed trainee in the same policy. Change the slide. Oops, sorry. Just change the group of people to the slide. Now, when the 75 days started, and that is something that I learned that I guess I was mistaken. It's not when the person joins GFI. The clock starts clicking when the application is submitted. So that makes a huge difference. Because let's say that I have on my team Mark is new in my team, and it's going to take some time, and we write the first application together in ethos 3 weeks from now. The 75 days start clicking that day, 3 weeks after he joined GFI. So keep that in mind. The clock starts clicking when the policy is submitted. Now, The trainer and the trainee are going to receive reminder 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, and 70 days. Remember that once that somebody have a license, if you remember you got your license, it took several days for get the national producer number. So take that in consideration, because once you have that number, you have to go to the Ethos platform and add the number for the trainee. Let me know if I'm going too fast, please. So again, how the program is structured. The writing agent writes the policy and set the ratio or the compensation split with the trainee. The online trainee shadows the meeting, completes their license, and verify the national producer number with Ethos. And the offline, the team leader, receive the pending earning if the trainee misses the 75 days. So, and the trainer can be also the offline, but if the person misses 75 days to get the license after the start the application was submitted, that money for that trainee that was put in on hold, it will go to the offline. And again, the written agent can be, and the offline can be the same person. So what are those two possible outcomes? If the person put the national producer number in Ethos for the pending policy that they wrote together with their trainer, then they will get the payment in the next cycle with GFI. If they miss those 75 days, the accumulated pending trainee earnings are released to the offline. And again, the offline can be the same trainer that submit the policy. So don't forget that and protect your fast start earnings. What not to do and what to do. Remember, the person is online, on license. So the person cannot say, I'm going to be selling policies. The person cannot solicit insurance. The person that is not licensed cannot recommend the product to the client, and also should not answer the question about underwriting. It's just a shadow. It's just there to learn with the licensed agent what to do. Once the license can say, I am here with my trainee, I am here with the licensing candidate, I'm here with a apprentice agent. I'm going to explain and shadow and supervise during the field training, describe the very important, describe how the 75 days work and how important it is to have the license way before the 75 days so you can get your national producer number and verify that with Ethos. And here are some questions that are very frequent is when the clock start. I already said several times. It start when the participating trainee submit the trainer submit with the trainee the first policy. And the person can submit as many policies he wants during those 75 days. Does the clock reset? No, the clock doesn't reset. When the clock start, it's the start. It's not going to reset. Can you adjust the ratio of the split? Yes, but the maximum is up to 50%. You can have a split, 10-90, 20-80, up to 50-50. Can you run a split with multiple unlicensed trainees? Yes, only 2 more. What happens if the person doesn't have get the license and the national producer number in 75 days? The offline agent will get that compensation. And then be sure that you put it in Ethos, because Ethos have to verify and seek it with the national producer number. That's very important. What if the policy lapses? What about it when those 75 data policy lapse? And like any other policy, there will be a charge back. The agent that is writing the policy doesn't have to wait for the 75 days. The agent that is running the policy will get the split in the next cycle with GFI. And again, what happens if the 75-day passes? Thank you very much. You're giving a nice Christmas present to your trainer. Then again, the track, you're going to have reminder 30, 45, 60, 70, and up to the 75 days. You need to verify your national producer number. your coach, your trainer. It's very important you keep on track of your trainee so they don't miss the 75 days. So that's also part of our responsibility. And the most important is that what you are doing this with your trainee that is learning and studying for the test, the person is going to be ready and is going to be super mega prepared to help clients once they have the license. And that's all what I have for all of you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Valentina. Wow, that was awesome. By the way, if you didn't know that, I hope you were taking notes. I hope you're paying attention because this is great. This is a way to get people to get their license, right? You know, have you ever had somebody dragging their feet to get their license? Would be like, hey, you got 75 days to get this bonus, so make sure you get that done. So thank you,
Yeah.
Valentina, because I know a lot of people always ask like, oh, what's that about? How do you do it? Well, Valentina just showed everybody exactly how to do it. So, you know, hopefully people are not like asking about this later. And I know we'll probably post something in the group me about it. But thank you, Valentina. That was
Yeah,
great.
and that's a good example. Otoyen that he got over almost 5,500 with the Fast Start program.
Wow,
Okay.
that's awesome.
So don't forget 75 when the clock starts. I think a lot of us were a little bit confused about it. And you're only going to be a shadow if you are the trainee. Please, please, please don't say that you're going to sell policy, that you're going to discuss product. We cannot do that until we are licensed. Please, please protect yourself, protect the trainer, protect GFI, and protect Ethos.
Exactly. And those words, everything she went over is super important. So make sure you study it and you learn it. And look at this, $5,400 on the first paycheck. I told you mine was 36 bucks. This guy got 5,400 because of the FinTech Fast Start bonus.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Valentina. That was great. All right, almost done. Good news. Ethos and GFI are giving more money, right? So you go and do 5 personal apps with Ethos, right? And you'll get a $1,000 cash bonus. So we have the bonus that, you know, Heroes is doing up to 500. We have a $1,000 cash bonus with Ethos. We have the FinTech Fast Start bonus. You know, a lot of people are excited about their Christmas bonus at work. Man, we got bonuses every single month. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Type a 1 in the chat if you're going to take advantage of one of these bonuses that we got going on this month. All right, awesome. So finally, here we are.
Isaac, let
Wendy
me say
has
something.
15 minutes to train.
Sorry, Isaac, I want to say something about that slide that you put, the one about the 1,000. If you are with a trainee or you're splitting, that doesn't count like one, okay? It have to be a full one. All
Okay,
right, so if you're
good point.
splitting, okay, if you're splitting with other agents, you're gonna need to have 2 split applications to count as one in the IUL.
Great
All right,
point.
very
Thank you,
important.
Valentina. So if you split, it only counts as half. So you got to do 2 of those, right? All right. So we left Wendy with 5 minutes to train. Just kidding. Anyway, so we have this awesome, awesome trainer. You know, Wendy, I've known her for a long, long time. I remember when I was training her back in 2014 and we went up to Panama City, I believe, right? I learned that part of Florida is called LA. And I'm from California and I'm like, LA? What do you mean LA? So it's called Lower Alabama, right? Because you can have fried gator. The houses look like a scene from The Water Boy. If you guys have ever seen that, it's really true. If you have little dogs, you better watch them because they could disappear because the gators get them, right? But I was able to meet her family. Her family's awesome. We trained her up, and I had a great experience with her. And as you guys all know, Wendy's always full of great energy. She's always positive. She's always loving, and she's going to give us all she got. So finish strong, best half, second half. We had announcements today, but hey, if you're serious, like they said, the people at the retreat, what do you want? What are you willing to give up? You have to be willing to give up a little bit of time, right? We're asking for a little bit of time. So get your pens, get your papers out, get your energy up, and let's give it a big round of applause for tonight's trainer, Miss Wendy Robbins.
Yay! Thank you very much. It's so awesome to be here. And man, Isaac is not kidding that everything he just described about where we were, nailed it. And I'm pretty sure that was the first time he tried alligator. But was it the last time? I don't know.
So far, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we'll get you back up there again. It's changed just a little bit. And it was funny because when we walked into Mario's house, on Friday, the house manager was talking and visiting with one of the people, and she said, "Oh yeah, we're getting ready to go up to 30A." And I was like, "Oh my gosh," because now 30A is filled with these beautiful $1 million homes, multi-million-dollar homes. And I was like, I remember when that was like scrub brush and we had bonfires on the weekend in high school. It's like, wow, things have definitely changed. So you guys, I promise we will end by midnight. So get ready. That is a true statement. We are going to end by midnight. Thankfully, a lot of what you heard tonight is what we were already going to talk about. So we're going to get through some stuff quickly, but we'll go as fast as we can, but as slow as we need to, because this is important stuff that I hope I bring some value and make a difference for you. And keep in mind, like right now, it's only like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Hawaii. So let's just go ahead and get in that Hawaii mindset. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get rocking and rolling. So here we go. Here we go. Oops, this is my calendar. Let's jump over here. Okay, can everybody see that? Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Let's stick that there. Okay, super duper. So I absolutely love Mario. He's goofy like I am, but serious when he needs to be. Although he's probably more serious more often. So we're just going to jump in, and please get ready to take some notes. Everybody that you heard speak tonight, we all want to see you succeed. I cannot even begin to tell you how much we want you to succeed. And some of you aren't even on our teams or anything like that directly, but we are one big team. We are one big GFI family and one big GFI team. And it's just, this is such an amazing opportunity that sometimes I think that we can't even grasp it because it's so big that it's hard to even understand. Like, who can grasp $30 billion times 30? You know, even the calculator in your iPhone can't. You have to turn it sideways to get it to work, or you get an error. So it's like, please take some notes and realize that what you're going to hear could potentially change not only your business, but your whole life. And even if you have a great life, which I hope you do, maybe this will just take it to the next level. So the first nugget that we're going to talk about is learning how to get Zoom to work. Advance. Okay, there we go. There we go. The first thing we're going to talk about is doing a business launch or a business relaunch. So this may be a grand opening. This may be a grand reopening. It may be a business expansion or a promotion run. Flora, who's on our team, she's super close to her next promotion. So we are really making sure that the meetings that she's been setting up, the appointments that we've been running for her, we're talking about the fact that she's super close to her promotion. Hey, do you want to help her out? And she's crushing it. It's awesome to see. She's a single mom with 2 little toddlers. And we got 4 pieces of business approved this week. And then we did an appointment today, and the woman was kind of on the fence. And I'm like, well, it only takes like, 10, 15 minutes. We can do your personal financial review. And this way it gives you peace of mind that you are where you need to go. And she's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And so when we ran the numbers and everything we're putting together, it's mind boggling how just a little bit can make a tremendous difference. So let's make a tremendous difference for your business. So doing an event, and by the way, you can do this online or you can do it in person. I know Janice Dixon, they're going to be doing an event in person. How fun will that be? But it gives you an opportunity that you can compress timelines, because think about it, doing the presentation takes about half an hour. But imagine if you could have 10 people there, 20 or 100. Think about that. If you're able to get 100 people there, what that could do with your business and how much time you could save. Because then when you set the follow-up appointments, you don't have to take that 30 minutes explaining who we are and what we do. You can just jump right into the meat and bones of the whole situation. So doing these events will also create it creates energy and it creates credibility, because keep in mind that if you've come from another industry, they may still see you as a truck driver or a plumber or a teacher or coach or whatever. But by having somebody else do those presentations for you, you get to leverage their credibility. And so the goal is going to be that you're going to be bringing momentum, you're going to have the exposure, and you're going to be able to set up appointments really, really fast. And remember, I think it was Todd who said, and I had this line written down because it's become one of my favorite lines that I've used probably 15 times this weekend. fast eats slow. So, but I added fast eat slow for breakfast. So there was a cool challenge that Mario was talking about that they would actually do, that they would have 10 people go in together to do a grand opening. And I love this idea because think of the momentum that you have then. But here's the thing. They had each of the 10 people decided to put $100 into the pot. And if you did not have 100 guests there, then you lost, or I'm sorry, if you didn't have 10 guests, you forfeited your $100. But then all the people who did have at least 10 guests there, they split whatever money was left. How cool is that? That is like a huge incentive to make sure that you're inviting in an opportunity, because listen, we're always wanting to make money, right? So how fun is that? So I challenge you to text your leader right now. If you have, whether you've done a grand, if you've done a grand opening, let's set it up as a business expansion. Let's set it up as a promotion run. We can figure out the logistics later, but send your leader a message right now and say when you're going to have that meeting, when you're going to have your celebration, your event. And then I promise you, we're going to do this, and let's start having every Tuesday night and every Saturday. Take advantage of that. Like Isaac said, I mean, we've had great success with people coming to those events and then getting coded afterwards. But we can't help bring somebody on your team if you're not sending them to us to help. So please take advantage of the business launch and really, really take advantage of that. Okay, point number 2, policy reviews. Reconnect with existing clients if you've been in the business. And reconnect with people who already have life insurance, even if they were a client in a previous company. If you can do something better for them, then do it. If you can't, then don't, because we only want to replace when it's genuinely appropriate. But the goal is to review the coverage, the premiums, the beneficiaries, the remaining term, if it's a term policy, any riders, and also if it has living benefits or not. Lucia and her husband Danny, they crushed it today. They had an appointment to do an annuity, but before they left, guess what? They were able to collect all the life insurance policies because the people were so impressed with what they were doing for the annuity. And then by the end, the man who had been a little sketch about everything, he's bringing out his Edward Jones statements for them to look at and for them to bring back to us to review. So one of the things that you want to ask is, does this policy still fit what you need today? Does this policy still fit what you need today? Or you can say, oh, do you have one of the older terms, or do you have one of the new advanced term policies? And what's nice is we work with companies like Corebridge. Say they have 14 years left on a term, you can actually customize how long you want the term to be with Corebridge, up to 35 years. And so that's pretty amazing. So do those policy reviews. It makes a tremendous, tremendous opportunity to, and one of the things when you're doing that is if you haven't listened to the training about how to also meet with the beneficiaries, I'm pretty sure it's on School. We won't go too deep in that tonight, but it's just an opportunity that you can say, hey, I don't want the first time that we have a conversation with your beneficiary to be when we have to actually put this policy into use. Could we have a conversation with them beforehand so that we do that introduction? So, but there's a great training on School about that. And if not, then maybe we'll do that. I think it's still on there, but if not, then we'll set something up and maybe we'll do that for a training another time. Okay, point number 3 is retirement and annuity reviews. So basically rollovers. So you're looking for people who have old retirement accounts, old employer accounts like 401ks, 403bs, 457s, IRAs, retirement accounts, and existing annuities. Here's what's crazy. I worked with somebody earlier this year who had 4 old 401ks. One was BC, not before Christ, before COVID. So think about it. He was paying the fees associated with those accounts the whole time, because it's very, very rare that an employer is going to continue to pay fees in an old 401k. Why would they do that? You don't work there anymore. So keep that in mind, that if you have somebody that just has an account sitting around, they've got fee drag happening, whereas we can roll that over into an annuity, and a lot of times they're not even going to have any fees at all. So again, you want to make sure that the conversation is about making sure it's a good fit, Never ever force a rollover, but review the cost, if there's any surrender provisions, taxes, guarantees, liquidity, and suitability. And then your question for that is ask if the current strategy still aligns with their current goals. So and most of the time when they see that, wait, I'm paying my advisor 2% or whatever, and this is zero, sometimes it's hard for them to wrap their brain around it. And that was actually the case that in the meeting that Lucia did today, that the guy is just sitting there listening and then like, wait a minute, hold up. And then by the end, he's breaking out his statements going, looking at all his different fees. It's like, hold up, wait a minute. All right, so moving along to 4 personal recruits. So, and I think Todd nailed this too, and by the way, somebody on that trip, because we kept talking about hot honey chicken the whole time, or Nashville hot, I feel like somebody on that trip needs to be nicknamed Hot Honey. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody needs to have like a Hot Honey award. So, anyway, I digress. Okay, so we are built on faith, family, fitness, finance, fitness, and fun. So you guys, let's have some fun. We're getting through this. Yes. Oh, yes, we went to Peg Leg Porker. If you have not been to Peg Leg Porker, please check it out in Nashville. Super good. I got some of the rub for the ribs. Cannot wait to try that out this weekend. It is going to be awesome. Okay, so roughly 4 recruits is going to equal 1 productive business partner. So if you're looking to build a team, you really and truly need to count 4 people as 1. And the minute somebody joins your team, they are immediately looking for reasons to quit. Did you know that? The minute somebody joins your team, they're looking for a reason to quit because they're like, oh my goodness, can I really do this? This is so much to learn. So keep that in mind because 3 of them are probably going to find a way to quit. So recruit 4 to get 1. And don't ever let one recruit's outcome determine your month. Never, ever, ever. So create enough activity to build a pipeline, and recruiting volume will always help you to create options. You never want to have to depend on one person to make sure that your business grows, because if you need them, it's just never going to work. There's a quote, there's a rhyme that I can't remember what it is. If you need them something. So, all right. So the next one is LP30. And I purposely didn't put more up there because I want to ask who here, and if you were in Nashville, do not answer. But if you were not in Nashville this past weekend, who can tell me what LP30 means? That was my
promoted in 30 days.
Oh, Isaac, you get the prize. You know what? You may become the honorary Hot Honey just for that. So absolutely, LP30 is licensed and promoted in 30 days. And I would say if they're already licensed, make it P15 because you absolutely positively can do that. You hear us refer to our practice company a lot, but our standard was that we did 3-3-30, that everyone brought on 3 teammates and did 3 pieces of business in 30 days. That was our basic minimum standard. So the first 30-day standard, you want to move quickly while the excitement is high. You want them to see what's possible, start licensing immediately. I think it's absolutely amazing that we have a licensing boot camp that they do not have to pay for 6 days a week. Did you know that other companies actually charge their teammates for some of their training? I did not know that till I brought on a couple people from another company and they were blown away. They're like, how much does the training cost? And I'm like, what are you talking about? We don't charge for our training. So there's so many opportunities. So get them licensed and promoted in 30 days. Start building the contact list right away because it's true. And then you want to start building that contact list right away. Because think about it. Are they going to quit on their friend? Probably not. So if you start doing the tap rooting right away, and because a recruit isn't a recruit until they have a recruit, an MD isn't an MD till they have an MD, and an EMD isn't an EMD until they have an EMD. You get what I'm saying? So let's make sure that we're helping them grow a team immediately. Schedule field training activity and appointments right away. Like speed matters. All gas, no brakes. Create accountability and early wins. make sure that you're setting a schedule with someone. We did an onboarding for a guy that just joined our team, and one of the first questions I asked him was, how many hours can you dedicate to GFI a week? And what is your schedule going to be? Because we want them to treat it seriously and treat this, even though we know it's not a job, as people are leaving traditional jobs, they need to have that same structure and that same framework so that they know, hey, there's some accountability here. But you want to work towards that first meaningful promotion milestone. That was the answer. Okay. All right. Next, power hour. And I can't tell if I'm frozen or if other people are frozen. Okay. Nope, we're good. Okay. Power hour. Structured. This is where we're going to have structured prospecting time that's 45 minutes to 50 minutes of uninterrupted outreach time, no distractions. We actually have that already. We have that built into our hero schedule. And it was posted earlier. I hope you got a screenshot of it. But then you can actually do calls for leads, and you can also call leads for the licensing. You can use Prop Hog. Florida has an amazing system where you can get the newest agents. And the nice thing is, if you're in another state, you can actually do the non-residence license download too. And you can call and just, there's so many scripts that we have available in school. Make sure you're using those. And then as you're doing, like, whatever you're getting for results, you put it in group meet. Let's bring some fire to our group meets. I feel like at one point I was getting notifications all the time. It was like popcorn, poo, doo, 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 all the time. But now it's like, I feel like we're a little too quiet. So let's see who's going to bring the fire, who's going to be able to out emoji somebody else. Let's just go emoji crazy. Because listen, you can't do that in corporate America. So let's do that here and have fun. And who is going to be the queen or king of emojis? Let's bring the fire. Let's make that happen. But report your results all throughout the day of like, hey, we just closed this policy. We just had an amazing training appointment. Hey, sometimes it's not even going to be awesome news. It may be, oh man, I just talked to this person. He was having the worst day ever. Totally tried to shred me, but guess what? My goals are bigger than his criticism. And I've got the fire in my belly, and I'm going to make 10 more calls just so I don't end on a note with that guy. So it doesn't all have to be rainbows and butterflies. It can be truth, but make sure that you're ending on a positive note. But bring the energy. Don't wait for someone else to create it. And if you need contacts, again, Prop Hog. Florida has an amazing system that you can download everything. Michael uses a daily activity sheet where he actually tracks his activity. Here he is, Senior National Vice President, co-founder of the company, and he still writes down and has a daily tracking sheet. So figure out what works for you, what your system is, but make sure that you're tracking it so that you have clear goals, so that you're tracking your calls, your conversations, you know who you need to follow up with, your appointments, and your business partner and recruits. And you can gamify it. Think about what you could take all your information and have a running file in ChatGPT and go in every day and make like a cool thermometer of where you are in different things. And one of the things I loved was that Mario actually said he had actually figured out how much money he made and then how much he was getting per call. So I think Todd makes like $27 per call, whether they answer or not. RJ was like 30. I may have that flip. Sorry if I did, guys. But RJ told a story about, because back in the olden days, we had to actually go out and like hit the mall or hit the Starbucks and do all the things, right? But so RJ went to the mall and somebody said, no, thanks, man, I'm good. But he had already figured out for every 10 people he talked to that he was getting $100 and RJ, forgive me if I just goofed up all the numbers, but somebody said to him, no, thanks, man, I'm good. And RJ's like, cool, thanks. You just made me $100. And that changed the entire conversation. So do something like that, gamify it, make it fun, and just, you hustle, because remember, the hustle is for yourself. So beat your personal best. Always compete against your best. Now, it's fun to have it to talk some smack with your teammates from time to time. Like, man, we're right here. We're going to take you out or whatever, but always with an attitude of love and fun and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the person you should be competing against is yourself and competing against your own best. So track your recruiting, your production, and your income records. And don't live on an old achievement, because it's really easy to do if you ever had some really good numbers. So if your lifetime record feels too far away, then start using your best 3 months, start using your best 6 months or your best year. Pull that out, but keep moving your personal benchmark. One of the things that we were down, so we discovered this whole other level of this house where Todd ended up staying was truly like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment on the ground level with a whole other kitchen, a whole other living room. But we're all down, like Todd and Bella and I were hanging out after everybody else went to bed. Winnie was just like all fired up. She's like, I'm not going to sleep. I don't know about you guys, but she's learning to crawl. So one of the things Bella did was she had the water bottle in front of her and would scoot it out a little bit more and a little bit more. Do that for yourself. Keep moving the goal so that you can continue to expand, because guess what? It's just going to make you stronger and better. How awesome is that? So the fortune is in the follow-up. So follow up, don't fall out. On average, it actually takes about 8 times to reaching out to someone before they say yes. So, and that's somebody you know. So imagine if it's somebody you don't really know that well, it can take up to 13 times, sometimes even more. Just don't give up. You hear stories all the time of people reaching out years later and someone finally says yes. So go back to every no-show you've ever had. Go back to everyone who's ever rescheduled that you haven't gotten back on the books. Revisit anyone who ever said later, like, hey, I'm checking my watch and it's later, let's go. Follow up on any unfinished appointments, any incomplete applications, work old leads, and any unanswered call is not an automatic reaction. They could be, who knows, maybe they're at the DMV and it's really loud. So don't take it personally if somebody doesn't answer. Think about how many times you've had to send somebody to voicemail. So every follow-up should have a next date. So when you meet with somebody, when Flora and I were on an appointment today, before we got off the phone, the last thing I did was I said, hey, can we meet at the same time next week? Because I knew that she was probably available then, because I know Flora's schedule and I had an idea of this woman's schedule before we ever even had this meeting. And now what's cool is because Flora is excited that that she's actually reaching out and trying to get that meeting scooted up, because she's like, let's go, because she wants to get that promotion. She wants to make sure everything gets through the system this month. So next, ask for specific referrals. I think Valentina shared this. If not, one of our other amazing folks did. Ask for specific referrals. Don't just say, hey, who do you know? Because we used to always do that. Hey, who do you know? Be specific. Hey, who do you know that's like got a great leadership attitude or is just fun to be around? Who do you know that's like they're always wanting to learn new stuff? Who do you know that has a heart for serving people? Who do you know that's determined or that's a self-starter, has an entrepreneurial mindset? So think about who do you want on your team? You're not going to say, hey, who do you know that's grumpy, always late, and may or may not actually even show up? No, you want to be specific, because the other thing too, this is something I have learned, that sometimes people are helping take care of other people. Well, this is a true story. Well, my niece who's now having to use my spare bedroom, she really needs somebody. She really needs a job because she just got let go from her company. So as a courtesy, I did meet with this lady's niece, and within the first 90 seconds, she had already spilled the tea on all the stuff about the managers and the owners of that company and how she was pretty sure they were embezzling money and all this other stuff. And I was like, this is not somebody we want on our team. And so I thanked her for her time. And I was like, I'll let you know if anything opens up. Because I was like, this is not, I was like, I know why they let her go. So anyway, follow up. Don't fall out. Oh, or ask for, I was on the wrong one. Ask for specific follow-ups. So give people a category that triggers names. Ask for, you can do it by life stage too. You can do it by profession, personality, or circumstances. Hey, who do you know that just had a baby? You know, hey, who do you know that just transferred jobs? So give them an example of a mindset. Who do you know that's changing jobs, retiring, starting a family, or entrepreneurial? But protect good client relationships. Not every client needs to become a recruit. Because here's the thing, if you say to somebody, hey, our company's expanding, who do you know that is a great leader that's determined, da, da, da. Now, if they don't qualify themselves and they give you somebody else's name, say, awesome. Well, if so-and-so joins our company, you should consider coming on board too, so then I can put them underneath you. Now that starts looking like one of those things, doesn't it? So instead, you just have the client meeting with that, or you just have the meeting with that person and you see where things go. But don't just automatically say, hey, you can come on board too, and I can put them under you. So don't make it weird. Next, build the environment. So be the teammate that you want to have. Treat people on our team with respect, participate, show up, post activity, burn up the chat, recognize efforts and wins, share lessons that you think are going to help the team improve. That's why I was saying, don't just put into chat everything that's sunshine and rainbows. Put in there when things didn't go the way you thought and how you were able to turn it around. That's going to be very, very helpful for somebody. And then handle any operational complaints, because let's face it, we're still a startup, you guys. It doesn't feel like it, because when we think of everything that's already happened the past 2.5 years, it's mind-boggling to think that technically we're still a startup. So as we bring on more technology, Teva is going to have some little tricky things some days. Everything may not be perfect every single day. So if something like that happens, handle those situations one-on-one, either with a call or a text or something. Do not put that in chat, please, because we want a culture that is going to reinforce action, optimism, and resilience, because that's who we are and that's what we want to have more of, because whatever we're posting is what we're going to get more of. Next, know your next 10. Know your next 10 clients and know your next 10 business partners. Every name needs a status. So start a form, ever how it works for you, and track the last contact. And it's great because Teva's now got the CRM system, so you can use something like that. But if you don't want to use that, figure out a system that works for you that you're going to actually use. But track your last contact, your next action, and your next contact date. And a goal is very abstract. It's out there somewhere. Oh, someday I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. But a pipeline has names, so make sure you're using that. Next, stay connected to the vision. My team is actually, like, we're the heroes here. My team name is Vision, because without vision, we perish, right? And we've got to have a vision. So Mario doesn't take a day off, and I can relate to that. I rarely take a day off, but no days off does not mean no time off. So rest intentionally without disappearing from the vision. And I'll tell you, when you got a fire in your belly and you got a goal set, you don't need a whole day off. I don't even know the last time I had a full 24 hours off, but it's not in an unhealthy way. It's in a, man, I am blessed beyond belief. And I don't want, it's like, I don't want to go to sleep. There's all this amazing stuff that's happening. So faith, family, health, and recovery really do matter, but don't take off more time than you actually need, but take time off. But stay connected to where you're going. Don't let, even if you go on vacation, don't vacate your whole life. Don't vacate your goals and your dreams, because consistency is much different from burnout. Keep that in mind. Create, oops, there we go. Create mini milestones, not like mini like a lot, but like mini. So big goals can feel too far away. So shorten the distance. It's almost one of the things that I used to always say, that I said to somebody on a call earlier today, was eat the elephant one bite at a time. Because if you try to eat the whole elephant, it's overwhelming, right? So you want to just maybe start with a little bit and go from there, or even like a runner. So I've started trying to get back in shape. Last week, I joined the gym for the first time and started walking again, but I don't look at the entire circuit of where I'm walking. I'm like, dear God, please just let me get to that telephone pole before I die. Let me get to that palm tree over here. Let me get to the fire hydrant. Because setting those mini, if I looked at that entire distance that I'm walking, it's like, wow, that feels really far away. Would it be wrong for me to call an Uber while I'm out for my morning walk? Yes, it would. So that's why you have to break it down and look at the small distances along the way. And so for our particular scenario, we have our yearly goal that we want to hit, break it down into quarterly goals and then monthly goals and weekly goals, daily goals. And I would even say for those daily goals, you can sometimes even set it up for hours where it's like, okay, 15 minutes, I'm doing this and switching, whatever it takes for you to reach those goals. You're going to figure it out for yourself, what's going to work for you. But make sure you have and that you identify that next reachable market or marker. Next, reward controllable behaviors, not just final outcomes. If you're consistent for 10 days in a row that you're making those calls and you're doing the things you need to do, you should give yourself some sort of mini reward and make it count. Pat yourself on the back. Make your own, like print something out about I'm the greatest person who ever lived and put it on your wall. I'm the most consistent champion ever, whatever it takes. But create opportunities to experience progress along the way. Because we really do need to celebrate every single chance that we get. Life's too short. Let's celebrate. Use accountability. Accountability should measure activity, not vague busyness. My grandma used to say this about worry, but I think it also accounts for this. My grandmother would say, worry is like trying to get somewhere in a rocking chair. You have a lot of movement, but at the end of the day, you're still in the same spot. So you're using a lot of energy that gets you nowhere. Busyness does the same thing. It's like trying to get somewhere in a rocking chair. So don't just be busy, do work that actually matters. Use visible reporting for people so that you can, and get an accountability partner. Maybe you guys share your accountability trackers with one another, but track your calls, track your conversations, track your appointments, track your follow-ups, your recruits, and your production. And then use those numbers because you're going to start noticing that they have patterns. And then once you see those patterns, then the goal is going to be able to diagnose and improve anything that you're doing. It's not meant to be a punishment. It's meant to just collect data. And data these days, that's your gold. I mean, that is absolutely positively gold because from that, then you can see, hey, when I call at this time, I'm not getting the same results as if I call here. Isaac even figured out, he's like, hey, if I do inspirational marketing calls at this time, I'm going to get better results. So he's already doing some of this. He's figuring out the time blocks that work better for him. And then last but not least, build duplication. Recruiting is not the finish line. So we shouldn't like bring on a teammate and we're celebrating. It's like, okay, I'm done. That's it. Woo! No, bringing somebody on board, you have a responsibility to make sure that it is just the starting line for them and not the finish line. So your goal also is to help that person to become independent as quickly as possible. That is only going to happen if you're independent. So your goal for yourself is to learn it, do it, produce. Learn it, do it, and produce. And then teach it, duplicate it, lead it. Teach it, duplicate it, lead it. That's what you want to do. But you want to be independent and get your team independent as quickly as possible because the business becomes scalable when productive people create other productive people. So produce productive people. And leadership isn't just about doing more. It's about developing people who can do things without you. So you want to develop people who don't need you. And at the end of the day, it really needs to be about all gas, no brakes. And so I want everybody to just take a second and think about the fact that this is where everything can change in your business today. Like you can have a brand new day, a clean sheet of paper, and Mario even had us do this, that write down, this is where everything in my business changed. And then I actually added back in, this is where everything in my business and my life changed. And I really and truly believe that you can do the same thing. It's just really about mindset and what you're willing to do. The only thing you can control two things, attitude and activity. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go for it? So thank you for letting me share. It was so awesome to get to spend this time with you guys, and I hope you got some value out of it.
Awesome. Great job, Wendy. Didn't Wendy do an amazing job? Let's give her a big round of applause. Man, I hope you guys are awake. You guys should be fired up. I mean, I've been doing announcements and I'm still fired up. But anyways, by the way, when we were at the offices on the West Coast, we wouldn't get out till midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It was meeting after the meeting after the meeting and eating after the meeting and then beating after the meeting. Just kidding. Those are the people who weren't doing their job, right? Just kidding. Not really. Anyway, so just real quick, few people, what goes through you sticks to you. You guys learned a lot today. You guys learned about all the stuff from the retreat. You learned about the FinTech Fast Start bonus. You learned about the new recruits. Wendy went over some amazing stuff. So just a couple, what was your number one golden nugget? What did you like? What did you learn? Just a few people give some feedback and then we'll close it out. So please raise your hand so that way it's a little bit easier. Who wants to go first? Just a little bit of feedback, please. Everybody at once. All right, Terrence, go ahead.
Yeah, beat your personal best. I like that. Beat your personal best every day, every week.
Exactly. Great point. Beat your personal best. Look at the best you've done and go and beat it. All right, Lucia?
Decide what you want and what you're willing to give up to get it.
Exactly. If you read that book, Think and Grow Rich, which is, they say, the success Bible, that's what it says, right? That's what it says. All right, awesome. Suzanne?
Staying connected to the vision. What Wendy said about no days off does not mean no time off.
Exactly.
Structuring your day. That was like golden.
I love it too. I love what she said. Take a vacation, but don't vacation your dreams and goals, right? Don't vacate your dreams and goals, right? Awesome. Okay, anybody else? A few more? All right, Linda?
Do I really want to leave a legacy, and what am I leaving behind?
Exactly right. Are you leaving back behind you, or are you leaving behind a team of thousands and thousands of agents? Awesome. All right, anybody else before we finish up? Couple more? Couple more. All right. Well, thank you guys. I know we went a little bit long, but I hope it was worth it. I hope you guys got some good notes. And now go out there and take action. You learned so much today, and let's go. Let's go. What do we say in GFI? We say, go for it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Awesome job, Isaac.
Thank you.
Good job, Wendy and Isaac and everybody.
Thanks, Michael.
Great job, Wendy, Isaac. Another great meeting, Mike.